If you're looking for a beautiful master plan community within Lake Travis ISD, then Sweetwater or Provence could be two great options for you. Now, when my husband and I first got married in Austin, our first home that we bought together was in Sweetwater. We loved that neighborhood and we lived there for 9 years, but then we ended up selling and buying a bigger home in Provence. So in this video, I'm going to break down some of the key differences between those two communities so you could decide which one is the better match for your family. So let's start with the locations first. So Sweetwater is located out Highway 71, just past Bee Cave and the Hill Country Galleria. Now, something I liked about this neighborhood is that there's two entrances and exits in and out. So it made it really easy for traffic flow to get in and out to the highway. You're only about maybe 10 to 15 minute drive depending on traffic to get to the Galleria. And if you're wanting to be downtown, you're probably 35 to 45 minutes depending on traffic. It's actually pretty easy to cut down Highway 71, Southwest Parkway, Mopac to get to downtown. Now, Provence is in a very similar location. You go just past Bee Cave, past the Galleria, but you're going to turn left on Hamilton Pool Road. Now, what I love also, there are two entrances in and out, so easy traffic flow. Hamilton Pool Road has been widened out, so it's actually a very easy drive to get to the highway as well. It's almost a couple minutes shorter to get to the Galleria because Hamilton Pool turns into Bee Cave Parkway and goes right behind that mall area. And to get downtown, you're probably looking at about the same commute time as Sweetwater. So the great thing about either one of these choices is that you feel like you're out in the hill country with the beautiful surroundings, but you're still really close to all the conveniences that you need, the shopping and restaurants, and everything that you'll need to enjoy just for day-to-day living. Let's discuss schools. So in Sweetwater, there are no plans to have an elementary school. Now that is something I've heard some families complain about. They wish there was an elementary school within the neighborhood, but there just are not plans to have one. So in the past, students have attended both Rough Hollow Elementary or West Cypress Hills. Just know that the zoning could change for the elementary school depending on how crowded the other schools are. Now, students attend Lake Travis Middle School, which is conveniently located just on the opposite side of Highway 71. Now in Provence, there are plans to have a future elementary school near the entrance off of Hamilton Pool Road. And students attend Bee Cave Middle School, which is not too far away off Hamilton Pool and Vail Divide. So whichever neighborhood you pick, you do get to attend the highly rated Lake Travis schools. Now, probably the biggest difference between these two communities are the amenities. Sweetwater is definitely an amenity-rich neighborhood. There are two clubhouses that both have resort-style pools. There are parks and playgrounds. There's hiking trails. There are sports courts for volleyball, soccer, basketball. There's a fitness center. And so a lot of these things are attractive to families with young children. There's also community events that are planned throughout the year. And I can say as a resident who lived there, we had a very active Facebook group. So it was very easy if you wanted to join a book club or a yoga club or pickleball clubs, things like that. There was a very healthy, active Facebook group with neighbors that shared common interests with each other. So I would say Sweetwater definitely has an upper hand if you're looking for more social activities and that feeling of being really connected with your neighbors. And when you're looking at Provence, it is a much smaller neighborhood. Right now, it's just in phase 1, so there's about maybe 500 homes. There's just one clubhouse with a pool. There will be some trails eventually. They've kind of started mulching out the areas where the trails are going to be, but they're definitely not nicely finished out or anything. There will be a phase 2 of the neighborhood, but I don't have a guaranteed date on when that will start. And I also don't have any guaranteed plans. I've asked all the builders and everything as far as what kinds of amenities will go into phase 2, and we just don't know yet. Hopefully they will add some more things if they add more houses, but for now, Provence definitely doesn't have a ton of amenities to offer, just the one swimming pool. So it is a newer community and I think it will grow over time, but that's definitely something you want to keep in mind, is to think about how important are community amenities when you're making your choice. Now let's talk about some of the differences between the home sites, the lots, and what you can get for your money. So in Sweetwater, it absolutely has some of the most beautiful, dramatic rolling hills. It's really breathtaking when you come over Highway 71 and you first see the neighborhood. Now, you can get some amazing views on the top of those hill sites, especially if you back up to a canyon view. But one thing I will say in general about Sweetwater is that the lot sizes feel a lot tighter and smaller than in some other communities. So in Sweetwater, there are some sections that only have 40-foot lots, there's 50-foot, 60-foot, and then there are larger sections towards the front of the community in the original section and also in the gated luxury area of Davenport that do have larger lot sizes, but just overall, a lot of the backyards feel tighter together. And then you also run the risk of, if you're on one of the sides of the hill, your yard could be very sloped, either sloping down to your home or sloping away from the home. That can make the backyard somewhat unusable. Now in Provence, the hills are a little bit softer and it just is easier to have a more usable yard space in there, although there's some that have steep yards. But I feel like you get a bigger lot size overall and can enjoy more yard in Provence. The home sites in there range from 50-foot, 60-foot to 70-foot. And a lot of those home sites do back to green belts, where I feel like a lot of Sweetwater, you have interior lots that back to neighbors. But in the newer phases, I feel like the builder has done a really good job, or the developers, of making sure that a lot of homes back to green spaces within Provence. And that was one of the things that drew us out there. Initially, when we wanted to upsize our home, we were looking in Sweetwater, but we realized for the budget we wanted and for what we were really looking for was that bigger yard with a view, our money went a lot further and we had better choices in Provence. So let's dive a bit deeper into pricing and what you can get for your money. So I just did a search of all the homes that sold in Sweetwater over the past year in 2024. The median sales price was $741,000 for a home that's just over 2,800 square feet. Now in Provence, I did the same search and the median price for a similar sized home was $664,000. So it's about an $80,000 difference as far as what you're getting when you just look at square footage. So you definitely get a little more for your money in Provence. You can get that bigger home, you can get the nicer yard or the view. This all has to come down to competition, supply and demand. In Sweetwater, this neighborhood is almost finished out. There's only Chesmar Homes right now who's still building in there. And so they don't really have a lot to compete with. Chesmar can set their prices and just sell at whatever price they want. And then there's just going to be resale homes in Sweetwater. Now, once Chesmar sells out, then it's gonna be even probably more expensive to get into Sweetwater because you don't have all the new construction competition. In Provence, because there's still a lot of construction going on, there are multiple builders all competing against each other. You have Weston and Dries Homes fighting for each other in the luxury space. You've got Ashton Woods, David Weekley, Newmark Homes that are selling in the low to mid range in that neighborhood. And with all of that abundance of inventory and empty lots to sell, the builders are being a little more generous and aggressive with the incentives and the discounts that they're giving out. Now, as the neighborhood gets filled up and over time, those prices will go up. But a lot of our clients have looked at Sweetwater and then they realize how much more they can get with a new build in Provence. And that was the thing that swayed them over the other community. Now, as far as HOA fees go, both neighborhoods are fairly similar in HOA dues. I have had people complain that how come the HOA is just as high or so in Provence because there's not as many amenities. I'm not sure on how the HOA is spending all of that money, but hopefully as more and more people move into the neighborhood, I'm hopeful that they will add more amenities and try to make, just nicer features within the neighborhood. One thing that did surprise me when we purchased in Provence is that they had a really high insurance fee. Sweetwater has one too, but in Provence, it was more than double the entrance fee to get into the HOA in Provence as it was in Sweetwater. So again, I'm hopeful that the HOA will put good use out of those funds to create even better trails and other amenities in the future. To me, that was still a minimal fee to get into the neighborhood, and with the savings we got on our home though, it still made a smarter choice for us, we felt like, to buy in Provence. So again, why did we choose to leave Sweetwater and move to Provence? As much as we love Sweetwater and we were first starting to look there to see if we could upsize our home, we just fell in love with the bigger yards and the views that we had in Provence. And so that was ultimately what swayed us there. We just couldn't have gotten the house that we did with the view that we got in the same price range. The other thing was the community amenities. Yes, Provence only has the one pool, but honestly, in the 9 years that we lived in Sweetwater, my husband and I only used the community center probably less than 10 times. We don't have lots of kids, and we don't really love being at a community pool with a bunch of other people. Our dream was we could build a pool in our own backyard, and with the larger lot sizes in Provence, we were able to do that. So we just completed our backyard pool, and we're super excited about how that looks. And we just love having the little extra peace and quiet and tranquility of being in Provence than we felt in Sweetwater. But either way, both neighborhoods are great. I've had recently another client that their dream was just being in a community that was very social and active. That's the kind of neighborhood that they came from out of state. And so they have a golf cart, and they just said, we love every weekend having things to do within the neighborhood. So when I told them about Provence, they completely ruled it out, didn't even want to look at it. They were like, nope, we want to look at Sweetwater only, because we like the idea of like planned activities, fun things happening all the time, and feeling really connected within that community. Other people, like I said, have been like us, let's start in Sweetwater, and then they realize like, oh, I could get a much better house over here, and I'm probably not gonna use the pool. I'd rather just have my own space, and I probably will spend more time in my own home. So those are the two things to really think about. It's gonna depend a lot on your budget, what kind of home do you want, and then also the lifestyle you want. Those are the two main differences between the communities. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have further questions about either community, just drop a question below, and also check out the full neighborhood tours that I've done on each neighborhood.